Good morning, Ben. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
We are fantastic. All right, let's chat about that final and kind of the off season that you've had. How hungry is this team heading into the new season after getting so very close last year?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's ready to kick off the season. Everybody's super excited, across the league in general. But we're really excited to get going. We're really excited about the team we have. We transferred 3 players to Major League Soccer in the offseason, so it was a little bit more rebuilding than we wanted. But we have a really strong group, and like you said, a little bit of some unfinished business, some bad taste in our mouths. But we also know that everybody's 0-0 kicking off, and now every game's the final going from there. So you just got to take it one day at a time.
Ben, when you lose such key players to Major League Soccer, what goes into building the roster in the right way to make sure that you're able to compete at the same level, if not exceed where you were last season?
Yeah, for us, it's a little bit of a combination of 2 things. Number one is I'm very process driven. If you kind of do things the right way, work hard, have a good attitude, treat people well, a lot of things can align quickly. So even though we had 3 transfers and lost a player here and there, if you're doing things the right way, that enables other players to step up. The second thing is our recruitment philosophy and the way we operate and do things. We talk about high energy, high character. We want good people. We want people that can step in and are willing to suffer and be selfless and do things together. So that's been a little bit of some of the recipe, and hopefully it keeps working. But our league just keeps getting stronger and stronger. The attention, yourselves, everything just puts our league right in the limelight. So there's no hiding. We got to be sharp. We got to be ready to go.
Coach, Charleston Battery have a very close place in my heart. I don't know if you're aware, but in the past, it's been a real sort of big stopover for a lot of Cuban players that have defected. As a Cuban American, I've witnessed that and I've seen that. And recently you had a Mexico U17, Fidel Barajas, on the team. What is the connection to the Latin community in Charleston? And is that something that is a part of the ethos of the club?
Yes. Obviously, number one, in general, football is a global sport. Anywhere and everywhere you go in the world and in America, everybody loves our sport, and it doesn't matter where they're from. Specifically to Charleston, you named it, whether it was Ozzy Alonso, Michael Chang, there's so many good players from all over the world, but specifically Cuba, that have arrived here and played here and made this club so historic and special. With Fidel last year, we have 5 or 6 Hispanic players on the team now, players from Africa, the islands, you name it. It's such a dynamic and eclectic group. And our supporters love it. Our supporters, whether they're European-based, American-based, North American, Hispanic, you name it. It's about representing the Charleston Battery, representing it with integrity and respect, and just doing everything that we can on and off the field to make sure that the ethos of this club is all about the Charleston community, the Charleston Battery, and these players, impacting the people in our community.
Oh, since we get to broadcast USL, we get the privilege to listen to these type of stories, Ben, and it's awesome to hear how, just to get into the roots of our soccer ecosystem. For you, though, you're still a very young coach, 38 years old. What's the genesis of your soccer story, and who are your influences?
Yeah, I appreciate you calling me young. I don't feel that young.
Hey, you're young. Come on now. Really young.
BJ Callahan's little brother.
It's just interesting because there's a lot of coaches in the league that are younger than I am, and they do well. And this league has so many good coaches and players. But for me, it kind of all started. My father used to coach the Fort Lauderdale Strikers back in probably the late 70s. I was a bang average player, so I kind of knew halfway through college that coaching was going to be for me. I did my licensing and badges while I was in college. Went straight from playing to coaching in college, and then was at Detroit City and Memphis and in our league. So, I knew coaching was for me, especially when you can't play, they say go teach it. So I've enjoyed it. I've been very fortunate to be around a lot of high level, selfless, incredible people. And that's had a big impact on me. But, I kind of knew when I was 5, 6 years old, running up and down the sidelines with my dad coaching, that's probably where I'd end up.
Whoa, hold up. That's like a little nugget that's amazing. Your dad used to coach the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. Like, tell me about that growing up, please. You must have
Did
been.
he coach Thomas Rongen?
You were hand in hand with legends.
So I wasn't even born yet. I think he got sacked after his first season or so. So when I went from college to professional soccer, he was like, "Hey, you just have to make sure that you last longer than I did." And I never knew how touch and go it would be, but I wasn't even born yet when he was coaching in Fort Lauderdale. It was more some stuff in Detroit with the Old Express and some stuff here and there and some college things, but. I always had that background with him as a high-level coach.
So, Ben, what do you enjoy most about coaching? Is it the X's and O's? Is it the tactics? Is it the man-to-man conversations, the motivating your team? What do you feel like your strongest point of a coach, your reference point is?
I think it's a really good question. I think the relationships with human beings is always, for me, just exciting because I learn daily from the players. I learn daily from the staff. I learn daily from anybody and everybody. I just try to absorb as much as possible. But really seeing players go through their own journey, whether they're suffering or fulfilling certain desires and achieving things like you mentioned Fidel last year and some players moving to MLS. That for me is probably the best part of it. But I'll say this, there's nothing like Saturday nights or whatever the day of the week is, that 90 minutes, the adrenaline, the excitement. Like I said, I'm big on the processes. The trainings are so fun and exciting, but that 2 hours each weekend, there's something to it where, I just don't think we get to experience stuff this is my job. This is what I get paid to do. So you love it. It's stressful. It's tough. It's nervous, but it's super fun.
Coach, for those who are going to be watching on our network here, are going to be watching a lot of your games, give them a little preview. What is the style that you like to play? And in particular, what coaches do you look for? We're seeing a lot of NBA coaches now saying they're watching Pep and what he's doing and trying to draw inspiration. Who do you draw inspiration from? Who do you like to sort of try to pick a few things from?
Probably the coach that I try to relate to from a football style and in implementing tactics and teaching methodologies would be Carlo Ancelotti. And he's just so well balanced. They can possess the ball, build the game from the back. They can press you high. They can sit in and counter. They can keep the ball in the attacking half and counter press. He sets things up for high level players to be themselves. And you never see him flustered. For us with the Battery, we want to be in your face. We want you to feel us a little bit, whether that's with us dominating possession, pushing you back, or whether that's pressing high or counter pressing hard when we turn it over. But we do have a good balance. For me, one thing is that if you see things going well for our teams, that you'll see our players willing to suffer. They enjoy the toughness. They enjoy the difficulty of our sport. That's something that we really want from the brand of a Charleston Battery team. It's just kind of willing to push through some things. It's a long season. It's difficult. There's a lot of really good coaches and players in this league, so we know 34 times we're going to really suffer.
What a fantastic answer, Ben.
Incredible.
Yeah.
You don't always hear
It was.
Ancelotti. What an incredible Hall of Fame manager he is. But he's not mentioned quite often when you talk about
Influence.
the Klopps and the
Yeah.
Guardiolas. That to me is you gotta fans here in Charleston Battery.
Can you do
well
the
done.
eyebrow? Can you do the Ancelotti eyebrow?
No, I am nothing like him. He's so smart, calm. He speaks so many languages. His players, the one thing that I think I probably try to do like him is the relationships with the players. His players, they want to die for him and they look up to him. I like I said, I wasn't a great high level player, so I try to really be genuine and forthcoming with the players. put the expectations out there. This is how we want to operate, and then the players go from there.
Well, it's easy to see why your players play for you, Ben, and you did so well with these guys in just your first season with this club. Charleston is one of my favorite cities in the United States. It is fantastic. I imagine it is a wonderful place to live. Can you tell us a little bit about what the soccer culture is like in Charleston, and what a game day experience is like when you go watch the Charleston Battery?
Yeah, like you mentioned, Charleston is a little paradise. It's beautiful. The community's incredible. I still think that the best part of this community are the human beings, the people, and that affects directly to our football culture, the environment we have. A lot of people watched the Cup final last year. Just an incredible evening. One of the best environments I've ever been around in USL. So it's a very passionate group. It's not necessarily a huge sports town, but they're very into the Charleston Battery. The club's 32 odd years old. It's been longest continuous running club in North America. So there's a lot of supporters that have been around for as old as I am. But it also kind of combines the uniqueness of the low country, the Charleston community, in high level football and in sport and competition. And it kind of brings the best out of both worlds.
Amazing. Road trip, morning footy road trip?
Hey, I had some nice
Heck
preseasons in Charleston.
I've never been.
In that tournament.
It is beautiful. You would love it. Great food city, too.
Oh, now I can't wait.
Why you gotta say that?
I mean, she's right.
It's the truth. Ben, we really appreciate you taking the time to join us this morning. Best of luck this season. We can't wait to watch you right here on the Golazo Network.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.